Hello and welcome to English class standard 11. Today we are going to start with section 1. Topic will be 1.2. On the summit we reach the top. This lesson is about Tenzing Norgay. Tenzing Norgay was a Nepali Indian Sherpa mountaineer. He reached the summit of Mount Everest along with Edmund Hillary on 29th May 1953. They were the first two individuals known to reach the summit. This is a brief essay where Tenzing describes the climb to the top. On the summit, we reach the top. This is the name of the lesson, and you will be having a new pattern where you will be having icebreakers as the first introduction of the lesson. So you will have to complete the questions of the lesson, that is blanks, you have to complete it. Now for the introduction, let us start first question. Discuss with your partner and complete the web of different activities related to climbing. So this lesson is about mountaineers and climbing. So let's see what are the different things that is related to climbing. Bouldering, sports climbing, ice climbing, rappelling, rock climbing, scrambling, hiking. All these are different types of climbing. You can go through internet and find out the meanings of all these types of climbings. As this lesson is about mountaineering, what are the important points that you need to consider if you want to go for an expedition of mountaineering? So these are the points. You have to consider time, distance, equipment that you will be needing for mountaineering expedition, then training, what are the clothes that will be necessary, then what type of mental and physical fitness you will need for going for an mountaineering expedition. This is the question. You have to form dialogues in relation to that. Next is discuss about mountaineering or trekking, where trekking expedition. So what are the hazards and risks, the problems that you will be facing while going for an expedition? So two types of problems you can face, that are natural and man-made. Natural problems can be about climate, avalanche, rockfall, altitude, falling ice, animals. Then man-made, lack of fitness, overexertion, accidents, bad equipment, bad planning of route, lack of teamwork, food, etc. So all these types of hazards and risk you will have to face for going for an trekking or an expedition. Tenzing Norgay, he was born on 29th May 1914 and he died on 9th May 1986. He was known by birth as Namgyal Wangdi and he was often referred as Sherpa Tenzing and was a Nepali Indian Sherpa mountaineer. Now he was one of the first two individuals known to reach the summit of Mount Everest, and this he accompanied with Edmund Hillary on 29th May 1953. Now different honors he had achieved, and those honors are: he got the Tiger Medal, that is in the year 1938, and it was honored by Himalayan Club and for his third Everest expedition. He was Star of Nepal and he was honored by King Tribhuvan in the year 1953 for all his accomplishments. Next, he was also honored by Padma Bhushan, the medal, in the year 1959 by the government of India, and it was given for all his accomplishments for mountaineering. Tenzing describes the climb to the top and all the events occurred during the historical climb. This The present lesson is an article which he has given to the Times of India, and that is why we are learning this lesson as a interview that he had given to Times of India, and that is about climbing Mount Everest. On to the summit, we reach the top. This is the name of the lesson. It is the experience of Tenzing. Tenzing is describing that they are on Camp 9 and it is Friday morning and they are trying to go to the top of the Mount Everest. So what are the situations he is facing when he is starting his journey? So that is how it is explained, and here I every time the word is used for Tenzing. So let's see how the lesson goes ahead. Now here the meaning of summit. Summit means the highest point of the hill or a mountain. They are reaching the top of the mountain. When they had left the camp from morning, they were determined that they will be reaching the top anyhow, and they were always thinking that though they will die or whatever happens, they need to move ahead and they need to go to the top of Mount Everest. Tenzing said that he would be leading and then Hillary would be following him. He was the anchor and the man going to lead, who was the leader who will be cutting the snow and moving ahead and taking a lead steps. In his pocket he was having 4 flags. When he had left Camp 4, Colonel Hunt had given him 3 flags, that of Britain and United Nations and Nepal, and he was charged of the duty of putting that flag onto the top of the world, that is top of Mount Everest. Colonel Hurd, while giving those 3 flags, said that when you and Hillary reach the top, put them at the peak, that is, put them on the top of the world. And he also said that both Hillary and Tenzing will be able to do it. He told to Colonel Hunt that he is carrying the Indian flag with him and that he will be putting that flag also along with the other flags, that Indian flag along with the other flags. Colonel Hunt gave him the permission. It was necessary for him, that is for Tenzing, to take the permission of Colonel Hunt because he was the leader of that expedition. Colonel Hunt was glad to know that Tenzing had brought Indian flag with him, and he gave the permission by all means he could put the flag along with the other three flags. And after that, for 1 hour they moved on ahead, and moving ahead from south face they started up to the west side, where they had to pass up through the steep lines of rocks. Then after that it was very slow and difficult way to move ahead. Once it was cleared, then there was nothing obstructing them, there was no barring for them, and they would be reaching the top where the sloping was going to be less and less. Tenzing says that the last 60 or 70 feet up the top were not very dangerous, and they kept the steady pace and they were moving ahead. When they reached the small flattened summit, they reached there almost together, and when they were at the last 50 feet away from the peak, they were maintaining their distance between both of them to be 20 feet away, and they were moving ahead with a tied rope which was tied both to Hillary and Tenzing. So this rope was an indication that they were together. Nobody could move ahead or go without anyone. As the rope was going to be loose, they used to tie the rope, and that rope was the symbol that they both were together. Tenzing says that they were not the two individuals, but it was a teamwork. He was asked the question many a times that who was the first to reach the summit. He says even Hillary was not thinking of that because climbing takes all the important attention, and also there are more important worries. He further asks the question to the readers that what does it matter whether he reaches the top first or Hillary. The main thought in their mind was that they had to reach the top. Only one of them couldn't do it alone. Tenzing says that if there was a difference of 1,000 feet between them, then one could have claimed that he was first. And moreover, it was the person behind who could give the confirmation of the distance between them. There was a controversy when they had reached Kathmandu regarding the same question as to who was the first to climb the Everest. All three of them, Hillary, Colonel Hunt and Tenzing, had a talk. All the three of them agreed to stop talking about this controversy as it was childish. They made a pact and all had signed it in the office of Prime Minister of Nepal. All of them had their own statements, and Tenzing has a copy of Hillary's statement which he carries in his pocket. This means that he keeps it with him every time. Here's the copy of Hillary's statement. This covers the points that they both had reached the summit together. This clears that there's no question of who has reached first or who has reached second. Both Tenzing and Hillary had reached the summit together. Now, coming back to what Tenzing did after reaching the summit. The first thought that came to Tenzing after reaching summit was he had a sense of gratitude to God because he failed to reach Everest 6 times before that, and now God has fulfilled his desire that he had for a long time. Tenzing had placed on the summit offerings to God, and he had carried with him. This he did as he believed in his religion. He says that both he and his wife are Buddhist, and as per their religion they had to kneel down and pray, but because of his clothes and equipment he offered a silent prayer in his heart. The offerings that he did were biscuits, candy, and a little blue pencil which his youngest daughter Nima had given him when he had left the home for the expedition. She had asked Tenzing to put it on the top of the mountain as her offering. Important to note is that it was an ordinary blue pencil which was not even long, but it was a prized possession that is valuable for her, and she wanted that to offer it to God. After putting the offerings, Tenzing pointed out to Hilary and he gave Tenzing a big smile. Also, Tenzing got out the flags which he had tied on a 4 feet long string. Tenzing tied one end of the flag to his ice axe and he buried the other end of the string in the ice top. Then they both left the summit. When they left the summit, the flags were lying flat against the summit. Tenzing was thirsty now and he took out his metal container to drink water, but the water was frozen. Tenzing ate some biscuits and also offered some to Hilary. Tenzing was also wearing the red scarf which his friend Lambert, who was the leader of 1952 Swiss expedition, had given him. The scarf Tenzing wore all the time right from Darjeeling, his hometown. When he was at the top of the summit, he remembered Lambert and felt that he was with him. Last year they were at 28,215 feet and could not reach the summit. Tenzing felt absolutely fit at the summit, and also he was very happy and excited, and it was clear sensation of happiness. All the mountains below looked like gods and goddesses to Tenzing, and the plains below looked like many broken pieces of map. On the top of the Everest, which is described as the roof of the world, has a place where only 2 or 3 people can stand. 30 feet below the top has enough flat square for the 2 people to sleep. Tenzing says one can even pitch one tent there, means put a tent there. He describes the summit is flat on one side and steep on other. There is snow on northern side, rocks on south and east, and snowy rock on the west. Both of them, Tenzing and Hillary, stayed on the top till 15 minutes. They were lucky that there was no strong wind, because if it would have been there, the winds would have swept them off. Now, the next thought with them was how to get down safely. While moving down the summit, Tenzing was walking behind Hillary. He was following Hillary and holding the rope tightly. Tenzing's determination was to be sure that he should descend, that is, climb down safely. Tenzing's climb down experience was much more dangerous than his climb up experience, because if anyone slips down, he would go into Kangsun's glacier and there would be no trace of him, which means that his death was sure. Now, as they were coming down, climb down, more caution was needed. The word hushar here is used, which means to be cautious. When they reached Camp 9, Tenzing thanked God that both have been spared an accident and felt that if there are no accidents till now, none will be in future. He says that he had always prayed God and God had always saved him. They both were not in the mood of talking. They were managing their own things. They stayed there for half an hour. They boiled some snow and made some lemon water and drank it. They also left everything else in the tent and took only sleeping bags with them. From Camp 9 they had come to Camp 8, where they had spent the night, and also others were able to see them. Tenzing raised his arms and showed them thumbs up to tell them of their success. Love saw them and their faces flushed with joy. As they came near to Camp 8, Low came up to meet them. This was about 300 feet up, and he had come along with tea and coffee. Further, as they went 50 feet down, they met Noise, who had brought some more tea. The tea smelled kerosene. Tenzing thought that maybe this might be because the tea might have made in hurry, and so some kerosene drops had got into the welcome welcome cup. Anyhow, Tenzing was going to enjoy the tea, as they had taken a lot of pain, whatever the smell might be of the tea. Now children, here we end with the lesson. This was the whole experience of how Tenzing had reached the top from the base camp. This was an article written in the Times of India. So it is an extract of that article which we have read it in the form of lesson. Hope you might have enjoyed it. Thanks for joining this class. Meet you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.